Jingle bells, 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 bells.
Piano in the bell, 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 bell.
Jingle bell.
Hello, hello. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. This is the National Mall Podcast. I'm Kerian McDonald here with my co-host, Brady Burke.
Hey guys, happy holidays. Glad to be back.
We're talking Old Glory DC Rugby. We're talking Major League Rugby. We are talking news straight hot off the presses. We got him, boys. The Beast. Tendai Matawarira. 2019 Rugby World Cup champion from South Africa, and he is here to put the hurtin' on some opposing front rows in Major League Rugby. Possibly the best number 3 over the past few years in international rugby. The dude is an absolute unit, built like a tank. We're talking 1.83 meters and 116 kilograms. That's 256 pounds of pure muscle rugby bad boy stuff. Yeah, but anyway, you get the point. He's coming here and he's going to shake things up. This is a guy who's going to change the face of this league. He's going to make MLR into a serious rugby union competition that will be respected in other countries, not just in North America. Him, along with Basterode, along with Ben Foden, some of the guys who have already been here, are really raising the profile of this league. And, you know, the fact that we have him here at Old Glory, I mean, it's got me and Brady pumped. Like,
I mean, I remember back when I had started playing rugby, the very first guy that I really saw play and like have any kind of highlights anywhere other than doing a deep dive on YouTube. First guy I saw on SportsCenter Top 10 was Tendai, literally tricep pressing his own player off of a restart. If you haven't seen the play, just look up the Beast SportsCenter Top 10. It'll be the first thing that comes up. He literally grabs his player and he's lifting him like, you know, a lot of props do for kickoffs and everything and restarts. He lifts him over his head. The guy starts falling backwards. He has him almost like, I guess like 90 degrees with the ground, and he just tricep presses him straight back over his head and brings him back down safely. It was one of the most insane things I'd ever seen. And honestly, just having him here is insane. Now, I've seen a lot of people online talking about how he's, you know, maybe the MLR is they don't want it to become like a retirement league, like a lot of people accuse the
like
MLS
my
of being.
beloved Major League Soccer, yeah.
Yeah, but I really don't think that's a concern right now. I think the concern is just the survival and like continued growth of the league. So any kind of big name, and this is one of the biggest names you can get, any kind of big name like that is going to be healthy for the league. And I'm just so excited to have him. It also just makes our pack, I think, immediately contender for best in the MLR, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, there's going to be chemistry you have to build, but...
And you know, that's fun. That's great, because one of the things we were slightly concerned about after the little exhibition season that Old Glory had was the strength of the pack. We saw them particularly against the Scotland U20 side, and then again against Shannon RFC, really get dominated in the pack in some points. And Shannon RFC, against Shannon, they really improved in a lot of areas.
100%.
They defended the line-out Maul a lot better, which was a huge problem against the Scotland side. So, you know, there was some improvement there. And obviously, you know, we were both forwards at one time. And, like, you know, forward play... It's not something where you can just throw 8 guys together and bam, you've got a pack and you just play on. No, like it takes building relationships, building an understanding, and building that teamwork to be a cohesive unit and act as one. And I think, you know, with a guy like this coming into the squad, a guy with, you know,
he's got 117 caps in South Africa.
117 caps in South African Test rugby. That's incredible. Played for the Sharks, you know, almost his whole career, you know, both at the Currie Cup level, at the, you know, Super Rugby level. This guy's got incredible experience. And, you know, if you've seen him on the pitch, not just the way he plays, but the way he communicates with his teammates, this guy is going to be a leader. And, you know, he even said it in a recent interview himself, saying that the reason he wanted to come to America is not just, you know, for the publicity or whatever, but it was for his chance to be able to grow the game here, to be able to reach people, especially young people here in America, and grow the game. And, DC is an excellent area for him to do that. We know the rugby culture around here is very strong.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more, youths who could be reached. And especially when you're bringing in an international superstar,
Yeah, it's always great to be able to, I love seeing, any of the OGDC players, trying to take an interest in like building the youth game and everything around here. But, saying former Rugby Virginia player and now pro player Michael Reed coming out, to like teach a clinic or something doesn't quite have the same zing to it. No offense to Michael, love you guys.
Hey, he's
love
played.
you, buddy.
He's played at the high level.
No,
in New
he has.
Zealand
He has.
But yeah, he
like,
doesn't have the name recognition for sure.
Rugby World Cup champion. Tendai Matawa. I'm so sorry.
Tawarira.
Yeah, I cannot pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. Please don't kill
The
me, Mr.
Beast.
Beast. Yeah, the Beast. But like just having the ability to like use that to draw more interest. That's a heck of a title. Just like Rugby World Cup champion. And man, I just can't wait to see what he does as far as like his youth outreach and everything that he's planning. I don't know what he's planning to do or what he's saying he's going to do. I haven't seen him say anything beyond I want to help grow the game in America. But I'm just excited to see where he starts.
Well, obviously there's the MLR National Development Tour, and we'll get into that more later. But, obviously Old Glory DC has a relationship with Capital Rugby Union.
Yeah.
And
actually, I lied. I remembered what did he say he was going to start? He was going to start with ERA, the Eagle Impact Rugby Academy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Ira, who Brady and I actually have a very personal relationship with going back years, because we were, our club, Warrenton Wolfpack, from rinky-dink Warrenton, Virginia, about 45 minutes to an hour outside of D.C. Our coach was one of the founding members of ERA. He helped create ERA. And
beyond that, my brother actually has played for them the past few years. So
exactly.
I'm really jealous of him, the fact that he's probably going to get to meet the Beasts and everything, just, and play some rugby with him.
Man, I'm telling you, we just came along like 10 years too early for this stuff.
We really did.
But hey, at least now we get to sit here and enjoy it and talk about it, and hopefully other people enjoy listening to us talk about it too.
Yeah, and hopefully the start to my rugby coaching career can start off with a bang. I get some tips from the Beast himself. But
hey, there you go.
Yeah, anyways, we should probably move into the rest of the roster now. Spent quite a bit of time on Mr. Beast. But yeah, you got any names on here that are really sticking out to you other than him?
There's quite a few. This has been, honestly, I think their signings so far have way exceeded my expectations.
Oh, 100%.
I was really expecting a lot of just, and again, this is the American League, and don't get me wrong, I want to see American players represented. I want to see them be prominent. I want to see them be leaders on their teams. I want to see them succeed and do well, because, the whole point of us having a domestic professional league is our ability to not only just grow the game, spread the word, but develop our own talent. Because, it's just a sad fact that not a lot of American players are going to have opportunities to play overseas in top level leagues. So
absolutely. The one thing that I will say though is that before the MLR, there had been other attempts to have professional rugby in the United States. I can't remember the name of the leagues, but I know there had been at
one
least...
was PRO, Pro Rugby.
Yeah.
Our scrum half Michael Reed played for one of those teams.
But the big thing is that we are kind of starting from scratch here, and I'm willing to accept any outside help at the moment. I want it to be a primarily American league, but having these international superstars like a Tendai, like Bastereau, like Ben a Pryor, Ben Foden, all these guys, it can only help us right now. Now, if in 10, 15 years, we're seeing like our entire OGDC side is basically South Africa Junior, then then maybe we can talk about that being an issue. But for right now, it's just like one of those things. If there's anybody out there that really has a problem with the amount of international talent we have, that's your problem, dude. I can't.
Yeah, it's just early days. It's early days. It's early stages. There's just got to be a lot more progress with all of this before it can be an American dominated, American led. And as Americans, I mean, we're a little, come on, like we're a little arrogant, we're a little headstrong. We want to be the leaders, we want to be number one, we want to have our finger on the pulse. But we gotta sometimes we gotta take a back seat.
Well, I mean, we do have threatened Palamo. I mean, kind of moving to one of our
okay,
other bigger signings.
Yeah, enough about that. Let's get back into the signings. That's him giving me a cue there. Not so subtly, but yeah, Fred and Palamo.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about American players.
if you're a USA Rugby fan, you know who this guy is. Dude's a beast. He's been playing for the U.S. national team since 2007.
Was originally the youngest. He was the youngest player in what was it? Let me see. Was it Rugby World Cup play? For a while, I thought I just saw that. Where was that? In the 2007 Rugby World Cup, he became the youngest player to have ever played in the Rugby World Cup. It eventually got broken, about 9 years later. But I mean, this dude's
pretty impressive.
I mean, so this dude's been playing since 2007. You'd think he's probably mid 30s or something like that. No, he's 31. I mean, he's still got some years left in the tank, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do for us. I mean, the dude's just...
I mean, you just go back over his senior career, too. I mean, Biarritz in 2008, 2009, just coming off of being the youngest player to play in the Rugby World Cup, bam, he's already in a pretty decent professional squad. He played 2 years at Saracens, who have now gone on to win several European championships.
Yeah, that's no slouch of a club, that's for sure.
Yeah, did a loan spell with London Welsh for a little bit in the English Championship. Played at Bristol's. That's a shout out to Jim, Big Jim from Rugby Pod there. And now he's
played with the Sabercats last year. Last season. I guess not last year because it was technically this year. But I'm glad to see him with the Old Glory. That's for sure.
This is going to be cool. I'm really excited to have a player of his caliber, especially an American player, on the team. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, obviously, Josh Brown being our captain and everything, I'm so excited to have him back. But I'm just glad to see we have good American leadership, coming into this season.
And not just American, but Eagles. Eagles. People with Eagles experience.
Yeah, I say American just because we were coming right off that, long discussion about having all these international players. But going back to the international scene a little bit, Kieran Hearn.
Yes.
That dude, I mean... Canadian World Cup player and he has so many caps. I mean, how many caps?
He's got 70 caps for Canada since 2008. He's been, I mean, if you've been watching USA Rugby over the last 10 years, then this guy. He is a consistent thorn in our side. He comes up big, especially against the US. He relishes playing us. He won gold in the 2011 Pan American Games. He can play wing, he can play center, he can play fullback, he can move all around the back line. He's tough, he's dynamic, he's smart, he's seasoned. This guy is a real talent. It's good to have him on, really.
Oh yeah.
He'll be a real leader for the younger guys on the squad too.
Yeah, I mean, he's just straight up a good player. I hated watching him play us, I'm being honest.
Yeah. I mean, he was infuriating. He would always come up with great line breaks, good passing. I mean, he's just the dude's he's just a damn good rugby player.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more saying that. And now kind of one of the first
also brings premiership experience with London Irish, by the way.
100%.
Well, and championship because they just got promoted back up.
Did they?
They had been relegated.
And then now kind of moving towards the OGDC relationship with the Scottish rugby squad, Mungo Mason, my favorite player only because of his name.
That's such a great name.
It really is.
God.
But yeah, he's 1.88 meters, 101 kilograms. So he's pretty shredded. Honestly, that's not exactly.
Well, he's a sevens player. I mean, that's the thing. He plays for Scotland sevens. I've seen a little bit of film, and yeah, he's really talented, very athletic. He's going to add some pace, some dynamism to the back line, or to the back row. I mean, he's.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited. I keep looking at this roster, and I just see so many guys that are so talented. and it's really amazing. Like in our first real year, that Old Glory has been able to just sign some of these guys. I mean, the Beast aside, that's just absurdity. Something I never thought I'd see. But I mean, just looking at the quality signings, like.
Absolutely. I mean, you really got to give it up to Paul Shee and Chris Dunleavy for what they're building here. I mean, just going from that exhibition season, which honestly, those games and the events that they were bringing in local teams to play and everything. I mean, we went. Those were
so much fun.
Those were just games. They're not just exhibition games. They weren't just preseason games for a new team. Those were like celebrations of DMV rugby. And I mean, they are really doing an amazing job of not only building this as a professional sports organization, but building a culture and a family around this team that is going to, I think, only grow moving forward, especially with the names got on the roster here. I mean,
yeah, I mean, and shoot, like we're kind of skipping over a few of these guys because we've talked about them so much in the past, and we have so many new guys to talk about. But we got guys like Ryan Burrows, Keena Malafu, Michael Reed.
Chris Kunkel, Nick Cool,
Mo Katz. I love that dude.
Yeah, he's really fun to watch. The Leprestes,
the Leprestes.
Guy and Dante coming back. Yeah.
Vakalai.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, I love this team already, and I haven't seen them play a full game, together yet, but I mean, that's definitely. I can't wait for the season to get here. I think this is going to be the best season of MLR yet, and I know that sounds biased coming from, a couple of OGDC fans, but just the sheer level of talent, like we've mentioned Bassero before, the
Foden coming back, Peterson coming back, all these, former international superstars who are, returning to continue to play. I mean, it's going to be a great season. I think that the East, and because now we're moving to this, 2-conference setup. I think the Eastern side in general is going to be really fun to watch. I think in the West, it's probably still going to be dominated by Seattle and San Diego. But
I don't think there's anybody that can really touch them right now,
unfortunately.
But I mean, even the Free Jacks have had a couple of big signings. But, I mean, obviously, I think the big team to watch out for is going to be RUNY. I mean, I just look at their squad and what they've managed to do. I mean, they're the only team that I've seen that I think has had as big a splash signings as the OGDC squad. I mean, Bassero, Cara Pryor, that's a lot of experience, a lot of talent. So they're one team that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing us square up against. I think they're the cream of the crop in the East here. But other than that, I think it's pretty much wide open for us this year to make a real run in our first year.
Yeah, and another thing on the RUNY thing. So, for me personally, I am an avid hater of New York City sports teams in general. Dislike every New York City sports team there is. Also, as an avid DC United fan, there's that old rivalry with the New York Red Bulls. I want this to be our rivalry. I want this to happen. RUNY, Rugby United New York. First off, there's the name. Awful. Terrible. Rugby United. What were they thinking? I didn't know what they were thinking when they came out with it. I still think it's a terrible name. I think, I don't know. It's just, and obviously they're just so stacked with all these players: Dylan Fawcett, Patty Ryan, John Quill, Mike Petrie, Basterode, Chris Matina. I mean, Ben Foden, who's, a former England international World Cup veteran. Like, they've just got all the pieces. And also they play in a baseball park out at Coney Island.
I hate that so much.
Trying to watch their games last year on ESPN Plus, I'm just like, this is so terrible to watch. So yeah, I am really wanting this rivalry to happen. So
100%.
All of you OGDC fans who are going to be coming to the games, those of you who are joining the official OGDC supporters club, listeners to the pod. Let's do this. Let's hype this up. Let's make RUNY the official rival of OGDC, and let's beat them every time we play them.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the biggest thing to me is, like, why would you name your team RUNY? you're in America. You know how people like their team names. They like knowing where the team is from, and they like a goofy mascot to go with it.
Yeah.
Old Glory DC, that works because the flag itself is a mascot, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But no, like the New England Free Jacks, you got San Diego Legion, Seattle Seawolves,
Glendale Raptors, or I guess they're the Colorado Raptors.
Yeah, Colorado Raptors now. Yeah. I just feel like naming your team RUNY, it's like it just adds an air of arrogance to them, like Rugby United New York. Like I don't like that. Like, it makes me dislike them even more than I do for just being a New York City team.
Also, United is just not like a rugby thing. Like,
It's
that's
not.
traditionally
Yeah,
a soccer, English football thing. Like Manchester United, Newcastle United, like, in MLS, DC United. But, like, I've never seen a rugby team with the name United, and it doesn't flow. It just sounds, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, RUNY, like, it sounds nasty coming off your tongue. Like,
Anyway,
I don't like it.
Before we ran too much about that, yeah. They're our rival now. It's official because we said so. Okay, so might as well just touch on a couple things right here. Cardinal Stadium is going to be the home field for this season, the same place they played their exhibition games at Catholic University. So obviously season tickets are on sale now, so go ahead and do that.
Get your beanies.
Yeah. Get that swag, get that merchandise. It's it's holiday season, so you may be looking for gifts for family, friends, loved ones. So why don't you head on over to worldrugbyshop.com, official supplier of Old Glory DC gear, or you can check out MLR.com. I'm sure they've got links on there for stuff. Basically, buy some swag, buy some OGDC
Get some
swag.
stuff to support this new team that we've been blessed with.
Look at these big names. That stuff ain't gonna pay for itself, people. You gotta help them out. You gotta buy some swag. So,
want to move into the Tight Five now?
yeah, I think we've touched on most of what we're gonna do today on our holiday episodes. So we'll move to the top 5, and I'll let you go first. What you got for us?
All right, first thing I got up for us is the Amazing Race from OGDC. So, the Amazing Race, for those of you that don't know, it's a TV show. It's been going on for, I feel like, a million years at this point. It's basically, you get, like, a set of clues. You have to, like, race through, like, a specific town or whatever it may be to, make it to the end, and then you win, and woo, it's awesome and fun, and then someone gets eliminated. But the OGDC squad, they decided to do their own version of it, where they did things such as sing the national anthem to random National Mall goers. Hey, shout out National Mall. And they had to be rated on a scale of 1 to 5. I loved the whole thing. I thought it was great to see them out there interacting with the people of DC, people who probably, if we're being honest, if we're walking down the street, most of them probably don't know who any of them are or who OGDC is in general. So I was really glad to see them out there doing, like, I guess, a community outreach, but like not like charitable, just be like, hey, look at us, please come to our games. I just love that. I thought it was a great bit of fun. I don't know if they still have it up on their Instagram, but I know they did have it on their story. They might have uploaded it on YouTube. I have not been able to check that out yet, but I just found the whole thing yesterday, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, people can check out the Old Glory DC social media pages. They'll find stuff on it.
Yeah, they'll find it.
It was, very nice. Always good. Rugby is a sport that's built around communities, so, it's good to see them engaging.
And building one here.
Yeah. So, number 2 in the Type 5. So, the Georgian Rugby Union, the country of Georgia, which everybody, if you're not familiar with the tiny little country of Georgia, sits near the Russian border, which is
Great rugby there.
a Russian border that is constantly moving farther and farther into Georgia, unfortunately. They are incredible rugby players. They love rugby. They turn out some beasts of, just
They are some
massive
big dudes.
dudes. They are terrifying. And they have entered a pro side into South Africa's Currie Cup competition, which is like their top level domestic competition.
I love that it's called the Currie Cup.
Yeah. So they apparently, the GRU, the Georgian Rugby Union, and the South African Rugby Union worked out a partnership agreement, and that's, I think it's an 11-year cooperation agreement that'll see a Georgian team taking part in the Curry Cup, which is obviously great for Georgian rugby.
Yeah, I just think it's awesome. That's a team and a country that doesn't get enough shine for being a great rugby area. I mean, every time I've seen these dudes play, they play with so much intensity and heart and everything. I'm just glad to see them, taking that next step towards, becoming a rugby power, because I think if any of these smaller countries can do it, I think Georgia is definitely near the top of that list.
Yeah, I think they're right under Japan as the next Tier 2 nation who can break into that Tier 1 level. Japan obviously did a great job in hosting the World Cup this past year, and not only being great hosts, but also beating Ireland, beating Scotland, two Tier 1 home nations, getting in to the knockout rounds and playing an excellent game against South Africa. They've really lifted the profile of rugby in that country, but Georgia, on just a raw talent basis, could definitely be the next one to crack into the next level. I mean, we've already seen Georgian players playing for Premiership, Pro 14 clubs, and being excellent at the international level as well. The main thing holding them back, obviously, is just socioeconomic and political issues that are threatening the whole country of Georgia. Obviously, we could have a whole podcast talking about that. Maybe we will sometime in the future.
I'd love to do that, but I mean, obviously, I wish the best of luck to the Georgian Rugby Union guys, and I really look forward to seeing what they put out on the field in the Curry Cup.
Yeah.
Let's talk unis.
Yes, it is kit time.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't see, about a week ago, Major League Rugby did do their big reveal on the rugby kits for the 2020 season. There's a lot to talk about here. If you like talking unis,
a lot more flair and just kind of quirky new type designs. I think you said they kind of remind you of like pro gaming, like video game esport jerseys.
Yeah, esport jerseys. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll start off with our guys, Old Glory. I really like it. It's understated, very like kind of classic, basic. Doesn't do anything too crazy, but the color scheme's great. The color scheme is great. Sorry for that. And I love the shield.
Yeah, not to be biased, but I mean, I am a little biased, obviously, but I think these are possibly the best kits, just because the thematic layout of the kit is very consistent, top to bottom. There's nothing that really throws you away from the general concept of what they're trying to get across here.
I tend to agree with you. The only ones I think come anywhere near it are going to be Colorado Raptors. And the New Orleans Gold. I love their jerseys. I think their jerseys look
there is something about that club, really. They've got it going on, man. They've got exciting players. They play fast, enterprising rugby. They're in an excellent sports market in NOLA,
But I mean, that's just such a good jersey. I just love I love that they actually. I know it sounds dumb to some people, but they actually went with the gold theme. There's a lot of teams that they'll have a color in their name and they just do nothing with it.
It's like the secondary color. It's like
they never actually have a jersey that like leans hard into that, and the New Orleans Gold one is great. And now for the worst ones. I mean, listen, I know we just trashed on them for a solid 5-10 minutes earlier, but RUNY, what are you doing, man?
What is you doing?
I mean, the pinstripes.
Obviously trying to force an association with the Yankees here, like kind of a...
I just look at this, I'm like, dude, come on. Like, you could
probably
have done...
because they play in a baseball stadium, which is terrible.
We're talking about the away kits at the moment. You can see all these on USMLR's Twitter page or where they did their reveal on their website.
Yeah, just go on majorleague.rugby, look for the MLR 2020 kit reveal. You'll see all of them on there.
I'm just looking at these jerseys, and they just... I mean, they're ugly, and especially like
they're ugly.
Like the home ones, they're a bit garish, and they don't look good at all. But I'd take those over the. What are those away jerseys? I just don't get it. Like,
so all right, so for the home ones, they're so they've got the traditional like thick hoop design, blue and orange hoops. But then they've got these orange pinstripes running down over the hoops. And that is just too much. You've got way too much going on there. It is confusing to the eye. And then where the the jersey meets the shorts. You've got that orange hoop at the bottom going into the blue shorts,
which have no pinstripes.
which don't have pinstripes, and then have an orange strip around the bottom of the legs
You know
of
what
the
it is?
shorts.
They look like construction workers.
Yeah, kinda. But then you look at the socks, and they've got these white stripes around the socks that don't match the thickness of the hoops on the jersey, that aren't pinstripes, and there's no orange on the socks either. So it's just like, what is happening? Who signed off on
I don't
these,
know.
really?
I don't know.
And this is not us just trashing
Yeah,
RUNY
no,
because we're trying to drum up the rivalry, which we absolutely are. Don't forget that. But these are just bad.
Yeah, I mean, even I went to their Twitter page where RUNY actually announced it themselves, and there was a few people. There was a couple people who liked the design, which I'm sure they're just being blind homers like we are sometimes. But
We're all guilty of it.
But there's a few people that just absolutely hated it. I mean, it's not just us from the outside looking
You showed
in.
me the gif of the Home Alone kid looking at the jersey and just shrieking in disgust.
Yeah. And then another one I did like was the New England Free Jacks home jerseys. Now,
Yes.
I say home jerseys specifically because they're away jerseys. Now, I have nothing against the away jersey if it was just that. But the home jersey has a beautiful classic rugby collar. And then they took it away on the away jersey. So, bottom of the list for that.
Yeah. I mean, I love the classic rugby color. You don't see it too often these days. You see some jerseys kind of throw back a little bit to the classic color where they've got the buttons and maybe this kind of little tab that runs around the neck that's almost like a collar, but not the full traditional color. So it's cool to see that. The colors, everything looks really good on the home jersey. The away jersey, not only the collar, but another thing that bothers me is that they've got a blue arm, red arm, and then the whole torso is just empty sea of white with nothing else on it, no kit sponsor, nothing going into white shorts. Then they've got the shield, both the kit sponsor, which is Paladin, and their shield, both on the shirt, on the top of the shirt, and on the short legs, in exactly the same position, which looks kind of redundant.
Yeah.
So yeah, not super crazy about the away kits for them.
What do you got for me next on the Type 5?
Oh, real quick though, gotta mention the Colorado ones. Those things are crazy. Colorado Raptors, formerly Glendale Raptors. I love the away kit with the bird's wings. The
It looks so cool.
coming across the chest. That is some epic stuff right there. Exciting unis for what we're hoping will be a very exciting side to watch this year.
Oh yeah.
So for my next thing, number 4, something that happened in the world of sports lately, not essentially rugby related though. Arsenal midfielder Mesut Ozil made a statement regarding the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in China. And the Chinese government is, as you know, looking at news articles, that they're being forced into re-education camps. They're being stripped of their culture, their religion, all these things to fit more in line with Beijing's idea of what a Chinese citizen should be like, which is obviously causing backlash from the international community.
Yeah.
And we also know about China's relationship with American and Western athletes and celebrities, making statements about them and how they've been very retaliatory. Like what happened with the Rockets GM in the NBA.
Yeah, and something kind of crossing over into the esports arena for a little bit. There was a massive controversy with a Hearthstone player. The game doesn't matter. His name is Blitzchung. Essentially, they were at a big event in China where he expressed his support for the Hong Kong protests, and Blizzard, creators of Hearthstone and a few other big games, they ended up banning him for a long time. So they've been in the news, and it's always been going on, but for whatever reason here recently it's become a lot more public, and Ozil decided to take it a step further and speak out against it.
And so when he did, obviously he was met with retaliatory comments from people on social media, retaliatory practices by Chinese media outlets and things, removing Arsenal imagery of Mesut Ozil, the same things they did with the Rockets, taking the jerseys out of the stores, all this stuff.
Yeah, it was specifically, the big thing was Konami removed Ozil completely from the game.
Pro Evolution Soccer.
Yeah, Pro Evolution Soccer. I don't remember what it was called. I knew it was not FIFA. But I'm sure he's out of FIFA too. They just didn't get as much news.
I don't know. I haven't heard of anything regarding his status in FIFA. The FIFA game for this year has already been released, so I'm not sure about next season. But so where this relates to rugby, though,
let's
is
get back to that.
Sonny Bill Williams. If you love rugby, you know who Sonny Bill is. All Black legend, great player. Recently signed for the Toronto Wolfpack, who are playing in the Betfred Super League, the top level of rugby league competition in England. He spoke out and backed up Mesut Ozil, criticizing other athletes and public personas for choosing, quote, economic benefits over humanity. Basically calling attention to the fact that more people aren't speaking up about this because they're afraid of threatening their business relationships with China. Case in point, Arsenal FC themselves, who didn't refuse to back up Mesut Ozil on his claims, saying that they followed a age-old tradition of the club not being involved in politics. Which, if you know anything about English football at all, that's absolutely ridiculous. Politics is ingrained in the game, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Just for me, big ups to Sonny Bill for stepping forward, because what's going on in China with regard to the Uyghur Muslims and with regard to the protesters in Hong Kong, is unacceptable.
Yeah,
and
I think,
you should call out authoritarian governments and unfair treatment of people wherever you see it.
Yep. I think we could probably come out pretty strongly and say that we are anti-Chinese government on this podcast. Is that safe to say?
Oh no, we might scare away our big Chinese investors interested in American pro rugby.
All right.
So let on a lighter note, let's bring it back up for number 5 here.
So what I got here is USA Rugby has announced the launch of a national development tour. So I'm still trying to kind of get a real idea of what exactly they're planning on doing, but essentially it's a coast-to-coast tour of education and certification, bringing the tutoring of USA Rugby's yearly National Development Summit to each corner of the country. So that came straight from their announcement and everything. Essentially what it is there's like this big National Development Summit. It's like a big kind of like, I don't know, festival. It's like a big conference kind of that they, really try and like educate new coaches, or not new coaches, but just bring like the community together to like exchange ideas and everything on coaching and everything. Now it's gonna be a 9-city tour, which is awesome, and it gives a lot more people the chance to go and experience this and learn more about rugby and exchange ideas with other coaches from the area or around the country.
Networking too. It provides an excellent opportunity for networking, which in the rugby community in the U.S., it is inherently not just a local thing. It is a national thing, because there aren't enough of us out here, and it's a big country, so we got to stay in contact with each other.
We should actually try and go to this, because it is coming to DC.
Look out for that, possibly on our Patreon.
Patreon.
Get some special content from the National Development Tour.
All right.
National Mall.
And then Major League Rugby is actually going to have a big part in this too. So it's the USA Rugby High Performance and Referee Panel, everyone's favorite. Women's Premier League and Major League Rugby will be providing keynote presentations at some of these stops. So I think that's really cool that there's a bunch of different people getting involved. This can only be good for United States rugby, and USA Rugby has famously had some issues in the past with funding and everything. I'm just happy to see something positive coming out of a relationship with Major League Rugby and USA Rugby at this time. Because
I feel like that was a lot of people's fear when this whole thing started, is how is the league's relationship with the union going to be? Will they be able to work together constructively to advance the growth of rugby as a sport and the development of players for the national team, as well as for their respective professional clubs? Will they be able to really come together on that?
Exactly.
Because, I mean, if you look at, we keep using this, example. We keep making comparisons, and obviously it's not 1-to-1, but the easiest comparison you can make is to Major League Soccer and the U.S. Soccer Federation. And if you are a U.S. soccer person or an MLS person, you know that there is constant friction between the league and the federation, and how they deal with players, and how they in the academies, and how they're bringing up youth players, and it's really a huge mess, and it's a subject of constant commentary and debate among U.S. soccer people. So we're hoping to avoid that kind of stuff with U.S. rugby and Major League Rugby moving forward.
Really, at the end of the day, having the Beast sign here is awesome. Having Bastareaud in New York, even though, obviously we're starting to start a blood feud with New York.
Boo.
That's awesome. The future of this league is going to be in our youth in the States. And if we can't grow them at the ground level up, this league will not survive, and rugby will not flourish in the United States. So seeing this just gives me a lot of hope for this future of this league and rugby in the United States, and just becoming an actual force in the international rugby world, other than sevens, where
we've been cleaning up.
We've been cleaning it up, getting it done.
Well, I think that's an excellent place to end on. Great statement there to finish. So, look for us to come back after the new year. We'll see you in the new decade.
Yeah.
Bringing this to a close and
Crazy.
bringing to a start the inaugural season of Old Glory DC Rugby here in your nation's capital. For the National Maul podcast, I'm Kerian McDonald.
I'm Brady Burr.
And we will see you guys next year. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.